What is going on, guys? It is Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. Today we are going to update you on pretty much everything that is important as far as the Russia and Ukraine situation. Of course, we have been updating essentially on what we think is really most important besides what we are going to cover on our live show tonight. So we are going to give you a teaser of what we will be covering tonight as well. That will all be done at the same time. So let me pull up my notes. First of all, CNN and BBC will stop broadcasting in Russia. CNN will stop broadcasting in Russia amid the invasion of Ukraine, according to a tweet from CNN senior media reporter Oliver Darcy. Darcy tweeted that a CNN spokesperson has said that the cable network will, quote, stop broadcasting in Russia. Will continue to evaluate the situation and our next steps moving forward. Earlier Friday, the BBC announced that it would temporarily suspend the work of all of its news journalists in Russia. Again, tune in to tonight's show to find out why. And then U.S. Embassy calls Russian attack on Ukrainian power plant a war crime. Whether you believe it is or not, that is what is being called from multiple countries. And now the U.S. Embassy in Kiev accused the Russian troops who attacked the Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant in Enerhodar, Ukraine, of committing a war crime. A Russian projectile supposedly hit the plant in the southwestern part of the country early Friday morning, igniting a localized fire that resulted in widespread concern of a possible second coming of the Chernobyl disaster, which again, part of that was over-exaggerated by some. They said it would be 10 times worse when other experts weighed in and they said it was a different story altogether. I do believe, though, there were several pieces that got put out right away. Somebody said yesterday, they commented and they said, this is 5 hours old. You need to cover this on the minute. First of all, I believe that we need to make sure that we have things straight. It's kind of like covering a police interaction, 20 minutes after it happens without, say, their body cam. I think that you need to wait and have all of the information before you post something. Sometimes it's an emergency if we post something like right after, and usually on this channel, we post it within 10 minutes. Over on that other channel, just remember that we put all of that together over the day. Most people are not following it as closely as others. I'll have somebody that comes in and watches my show that's obviously watching every single minute of every single day of news, and then they're like, well, they already talked about this 4 hours ago. Most people are not watching the mainstream that you are. In fact, many of these people, we suffer through that, so you don't have to. We believe that there are messages in mainstream that get put out in the public eye. People say, oh, I don't listen to any mainstream, but at the same time, the next day they'll be quoting it or they'll be using it when it comes to their advantage. If it helps them convince somebody else of their beliefs, they will 100% use a mainstream article, and then they'll say, this is mainstream. I see that all the time where they say, no, you believe this. Look, it's backed up, it's sourced. First of all of mainstream is not trusted right now. It is just absolutely a information conflict right now. There is a massive war, and it is information. So take everything with an ounce of discernment. And again, you need to be not, looking at everything, especially when it comes from videos and, of course, when it's coming from social media in general. This is something that we do. We always try to warn people if something comes from social media, because at that point it could be something that's not real, or it could be swayed, or the game of telephone. Now, for them calling a war crime, that's a big deal, because obviously if they are saying that, that means that obviously a war crime can start a conflict. And then West is considering nuclear war, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov amid Ukraine invasion says. It said that the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has accused the West of considering nuclear conflict amid the Ukraine invasion. Report news agency AFP. It says, quote, it is clear that World War III can only be nuclear. That is a quote by Lavrov. Was quoted in saying in an online interview with Russian and foreign media, and also read, 1,000 Indians still stranded in Ukraine's conflict zones, which there are many videos out of them pleading. I just saw one that had about 1,000 It looked about 200 women behind a gentleman, and the gentleman was talking, and they were translating it, basically saying that it's sub-zero temperatures and they can't leave. I believe that video is being widely spread, and he's saying that that's just one hostel that's stuck. So it does throw in this kind of wrench of about what is India going to do, and of course, how does that change how India is covering this scenario when their people are involved, or supposedly involved, right? And then minutes to hours after a nuclear blast are critical for survival. Tonight, we're going to be reviewing, again, how experts explain to protect yourself in a worst-case scenario. That will be tonight's show over on Marfoogle TV, our sister channel, where we have a live channel show. And then West is considering that as far as that goes, there was another quote that's important. It says, "I would like to point out that in the heads of Western politicians, that the idea of a nuclear war is spinning constantly, and not in the heads of Russians." That's, of course, what Lavrov said. "Therefore, I assure you that we will not allow any provocations to throw us off balance." So that's something that we have heard many times from our side. It's not so much, especially in the last 2 months, that's not something that you would hear from Russia, because Russia has mostly said kind of the opposite of what the Western media has said. They have not said something like this. So just to let you know, that's something that people should put in the back of their heads, because Russia is saying that we are planning something. Very well, may have some sort of Fantastic Freddy. Who knows? And then Zelensky accuses NATO of allowing the boomings, and I'm saying that on purpose, in Ukraine. In a bitter and emotional speech, Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky criticized NATO for refusing to impose a no-fly zone. Of course, when you listen to the NATO speech, that the reaction was, they essentially say that, if we do a no-fly zone, that means we have to enforce it with U.S. or NATO jets, which means we are essentially in a conflict with Russia. They said, we're not going to do that, but we'll sit there on the border. I am seeing all over social media that people are saying, we love Ukraine, we stand with Ukraine, and everybody is kind of doing this, they even said, there's videos like even the sky is with Ukraine, and the Ukraine had colors that looked like their flag. I just hope that people are really researching about kind of the history of all of these countries before they pick any side. Or if anybody should be standing with anybody, I would say we need to be standing with fellow people in all of our countries, respectively. So if you're in Europe, stand with Europeans. If you're in Australia, stand with Australia. If you're in America, you're standing with Australians. If you're in Africa, stand with Africans, because it is literally going to be getting to the point where it is kind of everybody for themselves if people aren't careful. Updates on this and all of the other stories are going to be over on Marfoogle TV. I hope that everybody, again, joins us. We back up everything we say, everything that I just talked about. We are going to have the detailed links and everything on that first link in the show notes. Again, show notes, the first link right there has a full bibliography of our sources and where we got our information. And then, of course, we'll be giving you our opinion, and you'll have a chance to talk with many other people with open minds, talk about theirs over on Marfoogle TV. If you do want to support us, we're independent. We're running 2 channels with 2 people and a team of volunteer mods. You can go over and support us at marfooglenews.com/prep. You can get yourself long-term survival food from My Patriot Supply. They still have a 3-month supply for $150 off if you use our code Marfoogle. That helps us out. It sends us a commission. At the same time, it helps you. Doesn't cost you anything extra. We are independent. We also do not get the same support as usual YouTube channels would. If we were doing camera reviews or doing reaction videos, we would be treated a little bit differently. Let's just say that. So if you do want to support us, make sure to go check out our affiliates for things that you are already going to get. And then also we have ways that you can support us. So if you do want to, please make sure to check that out. Again, thank you everybody that does. Love you guys. Be safe. We'll see you over in just a little bit over on Marfoogle TV. First link right there will show you how to get there. Have a good night, guys. Be safe, be prepared, and Marf out.